I am joined on stage by Tim again, who you saw this morning. We are going to be closing out the day with a sort of series of talks and some fun. When I told Tim I was putting this event on, he reminded me that something like 7 years ago, we had this conversation about the possibility of doing a Turing test, but with ads. Tim, maybe you can briefly tell everyone what the Turing test is?
Sure, definitely. So the Turing test is a kind of classic thought experiment in AI, where basically the idea is that you've got a human, and it's talking to another entity through a chat interface. And the whole goal of the Turing test is to say, OK, you know that one of the people you're talking to is a real human, and the other one is an AI. And can you tell which one is the human and which one is the AI? And sort of the notion here is basically that at the point at which an AI is able to give a convincing sort of imitation of a human, right, maybe that's one form of intelligence. And so this idea was really inspired by the Turing test, but the notion was to apply it to ads, which is, can CMOs, highfalutin people in the ad industry, tell the difference between what's real and what's not on a completely blind test? And we've got some of the data there today.
Yeah, and so when we talked about this 7 years ago, obviously, there wasn't a lot to do. Tim resent me this email, and all of a sudden, it made a lot more sense. And so in December, we started recruiting teams. So we recruited human teams, students, ad students, and we recruited AI teams. And then the team at Otherward made a fake brand called Volt. It is an energy water. And we sent out briefs. So we sent out briefs in March. There was a very detailed set of rules that all the teams had to follow. Thankfully, Tim is a lawyer, and so we had a good advisor on how to craft the rules. But the basic spirit of this thing was like, let's try to create a benchmark, right? Let's try to figure out sort of where is this technology today, what can people do with it, and when presented to a jury, so we put together a jury of about 15 people with probably about 300 years of combined advertising experience, people who have seen many, 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 many thousands of ads, and would they be able to tell the difference? So that was the question. That's the setup. Before I tell you how they did, I want to give you all a chance to do it. So if you want to take out your phone, I'm going to assume once most of the phones are down that we're good. All right. Any last stragglers who haven't gotten the QR code? Oh, I'm blocking a QR code. It's still really amazing to me that QR codes are a thing that work now. I'm not sure at what point in my life it's going to become not a novelty that you can just point a camera at QR codes, but I don't know, the fact we talked about this as an industry for 15 years before it was a thing, it's really something. OK, it looks like everybody's got it. It looks like you're all doing it. It's going to ask you for your email first. And let's flip it over to the results. Let's watch them come in.
Yeah, the live results.
Hopefully, should everything work, I have a needle that should come up on this screen that should live update. There it is. All right. So coming into this, the experts did 57%. They got 57% right. As you all add your responses, I can feel my pocket buzzing, which tells me that you are all getting your responses filled in. This should be updating every 5 seconds, and we'll see how the results change.
And now 53% is how much people are getting right.
53% is how much people are getting right.
So a coin toss.
54, look at that, slightly above the coin.
You guys are killing it.
Yeah. Anybody else still going? 55. There we go. We're moving up. Oh, sorry. 5-second refresh.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. What's happening here?
This actually suggests that people are thinking about it more, are actually doing worse.
Yeah. The more time they're spending on it. So there is a 30-second limit which you may have noticed on the ads. We wanted to make this a reaction, not something where you got to spend a ton of time trying to search for the extra finger. All right. I'm going to call it there. So 53%. So we did roughly coin toss. How do you think you did personally? Good? Yes. I can't imagine that you all did really well because we got 53% combined. But I don't know. Maybe you did. Maybe something happened with math in that amount of time. OK. So first, we'll look at the human ads. So these were produced. I'll show. It was teams of people and individuals. They're all ad students. They very gratefully took their time and did it for the fun of it. So this was a human ad. Another human ad. This one did not follow the exact guidelines and specifications, but I'll let it slide. Human ad. Human. Wow, that is true. Hydration was spelled wrong. All right, human. 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 OK. Now that leaves the 3 AI ads. So actually, coming up after this, Keith and Ted, who made this ad, are going to go through their process for producing this. I thought it'd be really fun to take a look. I will say that when Tim and I wrote the rules, it wasn't totally clear how people were going to approach the problem. Like the rules, the spirit of it was just let the AI do it and see what comes out. And the approach to the problem was very interesting. So they're going to go through how they made it happen. This was an AI ad produced by a team in Mexico City, and then Paul and Rick from Edition. So interestingly, in Edition, last night, I got the testing results back. We ran creative tests for all of these with the fine folks at System 1. They ran them all for us. So System 1 does creative testing. They have tested many, many, many tens of thousands of ads. And so not only do we know which ones are AI ads, but we can actually look at where they fell. So US print average, so the average score that print ads get in the System 1 process in the US is 1.8. So 2 of these got above. And if you want to see where it sat amongst the whole group, here's the full set. I've shared the full creative testing results with the students as well. You will notice there's one additional ad over there, the 2.8. The reason you didn't see that in the test is because it was disqualified. Keith and Ted will talk to you about that one. They acknowledged that they broke the rules. And so we disqualified the ad. Everything in the ad was generated with AI, but they put it together by hand at the end, which was technically against the rules, though very interesting. And so, again, this was fun. I think, when Tim and I sort of first were talking about this, it's really just, I think it's an opportunity to sort of make this a thing we can continue to do to sort of benchmark where this technology comes. I think to me, it's really fascinating to sort of see, and Ted and Keith are going to come up, these are people who have spent a lot of time in the advertising industry, and what happens when you put this technology in their hands. And so with that, I'm going to introduce Ted and Keith. They are going to talk through their process of building these, of building their 2 ads, the one that got disqualified and the one that didn't. And then Tim and I will come back on stage with Mark Darcy, and we're going to talk a little more about the results and sort of implications of all of this. So thank you for taking it. Ted and Keith, come on up.